Wouldn't you love feeling like your repertoire as white is a killer's repertoire, is pretty strong, giving you attacking positions? Well, this is my objective in the channel. I want to help you building this kind of strong repertoire. For this reason precisely, in today's video I bring you 5 powerful tricks to crush the modern defense. The modern is a pretty popular defense and we must be prepared to face it. Yeah, and we can try to play in aggressive mood because the modern gives you plenty of opportunities. It's a really flexible and interesting defense, but they run a lot of risks. So without further ado, let's get right into it. First of all, what is the modern defense? So against e4, g6 is the modern defense. It's pretty similar to the peers. Yeah, the peers is d6, and against d4, knight f6, knight c3, and then g6. Yeah, I have a video devoted to it, how Anish Giri set the peers on fire, and I highly recommend you give it a look. If you are building an e4 repertoire, this can be also very helpful. But g6 is a little bit different. They are trying to be more flexible. d4, bishop g7, and now they mostly are going to play d6, but sometimes they play c6 and d5, what is called the Caro-Kann. Sometimes they play c5, and yeah, they have plenty of different setups. Well, against this, I recommend to play knight f3, normal development first. Against d6, now bishop c4. Yeah, I want to place the bishop actively. We want to put pressure on f7, and this will bring you plenty of tactical opportunities. So the tricks I'm going to show to you now are going to be easy at first, then step by step we're getting to the complex ones. So the first one is the simple bishop g4. This is a blunder. Why is bishop g4 a bad move? Well, the answer is because of bishop takes f7, check. Yeah, we're luring the king to f7, where we can deliver another check, knight g5, and later we're going to capture the bishop on g4. King e8, queen takes g4, and yeah, we're threatening knight e6, but they play bishop takes d4. Yeah, they are keeping the material balance with this move, but we have several ways to get an advantage here. Yeah, perhaps the most direct is queen e6, trying to get to f7 or preparing knight f7. Yeah, this one is super simple and cannot be answered with queen d7 because of queen f7, king d8, knight e6, and not that we're going to win the piece because we're going to give checkmate. King c8, queen f8, queen e8, queen takes e8, and checkmate in 12 moves. So yeah, take a note. If they play bishop g4 right away, they run into bishop takes f7 with a huge advantage. If they don't capture, then we simply go down the street and that's it. We have an extra pawn and they are not able to castle, so they are lost. So trick number 2 is after d6, bishop c4 again, knight d7 might seem like a part of the flexibility of black's flexibility in the modern defense, but it is actually a blunder. This is even worse than bishop g4. Yeah, why is it worse? Yeah, because we can play again bishop takes f7. Yeah, why is bishop takes f7 a good move? Yeah, the thing is that black's queen is going to get trapped or forked after king takes f7, knight g5 check, and king e8 is answered by knight e6, and the queen is trapped. Of course, king f8 is no difference because it's even check, so this is the same. If they get so desperate they want to bring the king into the battle, yeah, they get checkmated in one. King f6 is answered by queen f3. So this one is simpler, it's super easy. We answer knight e7 by bishop takes f7. Trick number 3 gets a little bit more sophisticated, but is idea number 1 in disguise, as you will see. e4, g6, d4, bishop g7, knight f3, d6, bishop c4, knight f6. This is actually the main move. And here we're going to discover the power of queen e2. Yeah, this is a very curious way to defend the pawn. The idea is not only to defend the pawn, but the idea is to play e5. Yeah, imagine we defend the pawn with knight c3 and our opponent castles. If we play e5, they take, we recapture and they trade queens. So this is what we want to avoid. And for this reason, stepping to e2 creates the problem of, after this trade, trading queens is no longer possible. So this is our idea, to keep attacking chances. After queen e2, they may feel like playing bishop d4. Yeah, this looks completely stupid if you don't know theory, but very similar positions from the peers. Bishop d4 is a good move, but actually here runs into e5. Yeah, we use the center right away, and the idea is to answer d takes e5 with bishop takes f7 again, but this is a very powerful idea. The idea is that king takes f7, knight e5. Now the king has to go. G8 looks like a safe square. Knight takes g4 and queen takes d4. Rather than taking, because knight takes g4, queen takes g4, queen takes d4 look the same, but b7 falls. Queen c8, king f7, and queen takes b7. And we have an extra pawn and a better position. We're about to castle, so there is no compensation for the lost pawn. So after knight takes e4, queen takes d4 is black's best move, and we simply capture on f6. After queen takes f6, we continue with knight c3, knight c6, black is ready to play knight d4, so we play knight d4, queen f5, and very importantly c3. We control d4, and we are ready to castle and to play f4, knight g3, f5, and sometimes we can play for the queen side something slow like a4, a5. Even when we're not winning, we have a huge positional advantage because of our better pawn structure and our better piece coordinations. When we play bishop takes f7, they can come with the king to f8 as they are threatening e4, e takes d4. Yeah, this may seem pretty promising, but we actually are able to go away as e4 is not a problem, as queen c4 threatens mates. The knight on f3 doesn't fall, and against bishop b3, e takes d4, queen c4 again, e6, and knight takes d4. Just watch out that you don't get checkmated. Now after knight c6, for instance, don't capture, because it's never too late to blunder. Queen d1, checkmate. So after knight c6, knight takes e6, bishop takes e6, queen takes e6, and we have an extra pawn. We are still threatening checkmate, and of course queen d1 is not checkmate as the bishop is no longer on g4, no longer alive. This was trick number 3. Well, trick number 4, knight f6, queen e2, and finally castle. Yeah, this is the most principle, and yeah, we start advancing our pawn. This is the idea of queen e2, d takes e5, we take with the pawn, and now the best move is knight d5, that is going to be analyzed in trick number 5. But now we're going to analyze knight e8, that is a pretty passive move. Now we simply castle, and black's position is pretty suspicious. There's something that is going pretty bad for black. Yeah, what I'm talking about is the combination of a possible attack against the queen and the advance of our pawn. Yeah, let's imagine they play knight c6, and we come with rook d1, forcing bishop d7, and here we go, e6. The bishop is pinned, so it cannot move, and after f takes e6, we can capture rook takes d7, queen takes d7, and bishop takes e6, winning the queen. So no wonder they prefer to play something like c6, getting a getaway for the queen. Now the game may continue with rook d1, queen c7, and again e6. And now, well, black is not interested in letting us install one of our pieces on e6. Playing f takes e6 is really ugly, so they may play f6 or f5, in which case we are going to play something really nice. Yeah, we can play rook d7. Yeah, taking advantage of the powerful position of our pawn, of our e-pawn, and with the help of the bishop. Bishop takes d7, e takes d7, check, king h8, d takes e8, queen, rook takes e8, and yeah, with this tactical maneuver we won 2 pieces for a rook. And here we can try to blockade black center with bishop e6. followed by knight c3, bishop e3, rook e1, who knows, h4, h5. Yeah, we have several ways to increase our advantage. Okay, in trick number 5, after playing e5, they capture d takes e5, d takes e5, and play knight d5. This is a very good move because this bishop keeps control of e6, and the knight is going to be reinforced by c6. So this is pretty normal. They are trying to play bishop g4. Once we get to this kind of position, this is our pride. Yeah, our e5 pawn is really important. It restricts black's bishop mobility. It gives us some attacking chances in the king side. So this pawn, we must be very careful and defend it well. And for this reason, h3 is the most normal move here. Rather than play this, we castle, we allow bishop g4, and the idea is to answer it with knight bd2. We're ready to play h3 or queen e4, and if when they play knight b6, we play h3, knight takes c4, queen takes c4, and our queen is ready to go to h4, bishop e6, queen h4, and this is a really dangerous one. We are bringing our pieces to the king side. Yeah, we have the knight, the bishop, and this is pretty dangerous for black. There's a game that black played h6, knight e4, g5, and here we can win by force by playing bishop takes g5, h takes g5, knight f g5. We're threatening mate in one, and yeah, the only thing they can do is be playing bishop f5. Otherwise, rook e8 runs into queen h7, king f8, knight takes e6, f takes e6, knight g5, threatening knight d5, and at the same time queen g6, and this is too much. They are not able to cope with all these threats. So against knight f g5, bishop f5 is a normal move, knight g3, bishop g6, rook a1, bringing pieces to the game, queen c8, f4, threatening f5, and this is really interesting. If they play f6, we continue with f5, sacrificing a second piece, f takes g5, queen takes g5, and yeah, it's curious because we're 2 pieces down, but black's position is simply destroyed. Their pieces are not collaborating in the defense of the king. So this one is really difficult. If they play bishop f7, f6 wins right away. Playing bishop h7 is no difference because of knight h5, and rook f7 to defend the bishop runs into e6. So this is horrible. Yeah, we're about to win. The only defense I found is queen e8, f takes g6, and at least, I mean, this pawn is super dangerous, gives us the possibility to reach h7 with the queen, and yeah, we're also threatening knight f5, but at least they are still alive. Knight d7, trying to bring a piece to the defense, and rook f7. Yeah, this one destroys black's position completely. Yeah, the thing is that they cannot capture because of us capturing back. If the queen captures, the knight falls, and if they capture with the king, they get, well, almost checkmated with e6. King takes e6, now checkmate in one. So this is pretty strong. Rook f7 is so strong, it's almost no way to deal with it. Bishop takes e5, knight f5, and this is too much. Knight h6 followed by rook h7 is checkmate, and if they play rook f7, this is mate in few moves. G takes f7, king takes f7, knight h6, king f8, and queen g8, or king e6 and queen f5. So that was it. I hope you enjoyed. I really hope you're able to play these ideas in your games. And yeah, keep building a nice repertoire. An aggressive, strong repertoire will be a very good investment for you. So thank you for your attention and see you next time. Goodbye.